Hello, Mooncrafters. Welcome. This is Craft of Moon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Craft of Moon. I'm really glad to see you here again. My name is Ryan Hunt. I'm an astrologer, teacher, and guide, and my work centers around helping people understand the deeper rhythms of their lives, especially the ones that move beneath the surface of consciousness, like lunar timing, planetary cycles, and the quiet ways that the cosmos mirrors our inner life. Today, I want to talk about the winter solstice and the upcoming new year. The solstice is the turning point, yes, but not the actual moment of renewal. And understanding the difference between these two things can completely reframe how you approach intention, personal growth, and your relationship with time itself. But before we dive fully into that, let me share something exciting that I've been working on because it ties directly into the arc of renewal. I am teaching a new course with Synchronicity University called 5 Cosmic Catalysts for the Best Year Yet, and explores how 5 major planetary forces guide us through the year. Mars, the initiator; Jupiter, the visionary; Saturn, the architect; Pluto, the transformer; and Uranus, the awakener. Each planet acts like a catalyst, a kind of phase shift in how we grow, change, and realign ourselves over a year. I've chosen these 5 to discuss for 2026 due to the impact that they will have this coming year. So for our intention practices, resolutions, goals, aspirations, hopes, and wishes, we can use the full period from the solstice to the new year, either the Western New Year or the Chinese New Year, to gestate our intentions and then let them be born as the light of the sun strengthens. Today's video is part of a 5-video series that will explore these pieces of the renewal cycle one step at a time. So by the time the class begins in January, you'll already have the cosmological foundation to understand how these catalysts work. Let's get into today's idea, the idea of thinking of the winter solstice as the new year is growing in popularity. But it's not new. This view cycles through the zeitgeist periodically because it's the moment the light begins to return. And that is true. The light increases again after months of decline. But that doesn't mean the new year begins at the solstice. I invite you to think of the solstice as the inception, not the emergence. It's the moment something shifts in direction but doesn't yet become visible or strong. Let's slow that down a little bit. Right before the solstice, the sun has been losing strength for months. Day by day, the light has been diminishing. The days grow shorter and shorter and shorter. When we finally hit the solstice, suddenly the decrease stops. It doesn't reverse dramatically, it just stops. It's a still point, a pivot, a breath at the bottom. Then, very slowly, the light begins to grow again. But is the sun strong at that moment? No, not at all. It is newborn, fragile, embryonic. It has turned the corner, but it has not yet emerged. And this principle, turning versus emerging, is encoded everywhere in ancient astrology. There's several parallels we can look at. First, the moon. When the moon is conjunct the sun, it is invisible in the sky. That dark moon moment is not the new moon in any meaningful ancient sense, even though modern calendars mark it as such. A new moon is a phase, which is a period of time, not a point, and it is recognized as the period after the dark moon up until the opening crescent, when the moon has separated enough from the sun to show itself again, or until the moon leaves the sign where the dark moon formed, whichever comes first. That tiny sliver of light is the true newness. Darkness is stillness. Emergence is newness. The second parallel are the planets themselves. Similarly, when a planet is cazimi, which means that it's right in the heart of the sun, perfectly conjunct, just like the new moon, it's considered purified, renewed, reset. But at that moment, astrologers treated as its rebirth? No. The rebirth happens at the heliacal rising, when the planet becomes visible again after being hidden in the sun's light. Not the conjunction, the cazimi. It's the emergence. There is always a period of gestation before that happens. A third parallel we can see on cultural calendars. If you look at cultures around the world, many of them intuitively understood this. The main one that I like to look at is the Chinese. The Chinese don't celebrate the new year at solstice. They wait for the second new moon after the solstice, a period that allows the light to strengthen and the cycle to reveal itself. Agricultural calendars across multiple traditions waited until light had returned enough to support new life before declaring a new year. Even in Western tradition, the ancient debates about a January or March New Year, we haven't seen those recently, but hundreds of years ago, they were talking about it. And they were attempts to reconcile cultural life with astronomical cycles. It's only in modern times that we have reduced the new year to a mere date fixed on a civil calendar without understanding that date's connection to the broader cycles of time. But nature doesn't operate on civil calendars. Nature operates on emergence. Let me put it this way. If you've ever had the flu, you know there's a moment where the fever breaks. That's the solstice. But do you get up and celebrate the second the fever breaks? No. You rest, you recover, you gain strength. Only after that do you say, I'm myself again. That moment when vitality returns, when we reconnect with our friends, go dancing again, this moment is the new year, not the moment the fever breaks. Renewal requires time to strengthen. So the solstice is incredibly important. It is the cosmic pivot, the directional shift, but it is not the new year. It is the seed of the new year, the beginning of the beginning. The moment the wheel turns, the actual new year, cosmically, symbolically, energetically, comes a little later, once the returning light has enough strength to show itself. Collectively, we have a date for that. In the Western Gregorian calendar, it's January 1. But personally, we can each find our own rhythm. Do we tie that to the moon, the Venus cycle, the Mercury cycle? We can each find our own path as it relates to the way that we set our own intentions. And this brings us to the first catalyst of the course that I will be teaching in January with Synchronicity University. Mars. Mars is the force that says something needs to move. Something needs to begin. Something needs to shift. Mars lives at that threshold moment we've been talking about, the point where the solstice turns into the first signs of growing light. Mars is not the whole story of the new year, but it's the spark of emergence. It's the instinct to act after a long period of stillness. It's the impulse to begin something new. It's the courage to take a step that redefines direction. This is Capricorn season, and Mars finds its exaltation in Capricorn. And in 2026, Mars is direct the entire solstice to solstice year, which creates a full arc of forward momentum. We'll explore that deeply in Class 1. If this resonated with you, I invite you to support this channel by liking this video and subscribing. It surprises me how many people watch the videos but don't subscribe. Really, if you enjoy this content, if you're watching, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It genuinely helps the videos reach more people. I also offer private sessions if you want to go deeper into personal guidance for astrology consultations, ongoing coaching, astrological mentoring for practitioners. I even do psychedelic integration work. You'll find all of the details at my website in the link below. Thank you for being here. In the next video, we'll explore why renewal is real at emergence, not inception, and what the moon and heliacal risings can teach us about that process. Until next time, keep your eye on the sky and make a wish upon a star.